Yo, 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 good morning, everybody. It's Curtis back with another investment video. I just want to take a moment. I've hit my goal of 500 subscribers. I want to thank each and every one of you for subscribing to the channel. I know on your screen right now you can see 499 subscribers. YouTube does have an issue with different subscriber counts in different areas of the platform. But according to the actual official source within my YouTube studio account, it's 500 subscribers. I started this channel, with the focus to try and bridge the gap between new investor, non-investor, then sort of new investor, and hopefully becoming, a good investor. As I felt that was a gap in the market in terms of understanding how you can get into the stock market and trade and start to, be successful early on. And so much of you seem to be benefit from the content. I'm getting a lot of likes, a lot of comments, a lot of messages, and I really, really appreciate it. So I'm glad that you guys are benefiting from the content. I'll continue to keep on producing as much content that I would have wanted as well when I started investing. So content that I believe is quality, that I sort of stand by, and hopefully you guys can keep benefiting from that. With that in mind, my next goal is 1,000 subscribers. My original goal was 100. Then it went to 250, then 500, and I'm doubling again to 1,000. So with your help and support, please like, please share, please comment, please, definitely share the content with anyone that will be interested in infant investors. If you're new to the channel and this is your first view, Infant Investors is about helping all new and non-investors make sense of the stock market. I do this in a variety of ways, from my own personal portfolio update, as I believe in educating through demonstrating and putting my money where my mouth is, also through the Profit Podcast, which is a podcast that talks about different investment topics such as investment tips, what type of investment are you, ETFs, dividends, tax, ethical investing, and a whole variety of topics. There's a new series called The Fundamentals. I base a lot of my investment decisions on fundamental data and fundamental analysis. And rather than just tell you what stocks to buy, I kind of believe in the whole teach a man to fish rather than give him a fish approach. So rather than just tell you, I'll go and buy, I don't know, Aviva stock, I'll tell you what I look for in a stock. And when you see that with any other stock, you can then obviously, make better investment decisions. So the fundamentals is what I look for. So I'm really excited about this series. So definitely check it out if you're interested in learning how to find a really, really good stock. And then stock market news, which is what this video falls under. So we take a specific stock and we sort of explore it and why it could be beneficial based off recent and current news that's sort of available. So, there's a lot more videos to come. We're even in conversations with a few other startup, UK stock market channels on building a sort of community for you guys. So you guys can kind of have the help and support at hand whenever you need. So there's so many plans coming. We will never slack. And with that in mind, today I wanted to talk to you about Slack. Now, Slack is going to launch their IPO. They've already filed for an IPO and they're planning to launch it probably within the next 30 days. They're going to launch it via a direct public offering as opposed to an initial public offering. So, a direct public offering is very, very beneficial for organizations with a high loyalty fan base and a high subscription fan base. Spotify did that approach. It's where you've already got your consumers there. So you don't kind of need the additional hoopla, I guess, that goes with an initial public offering. You've kind of already got a loyal subscribed fan base that's continuously giving you revenue, and all you're trying to do is expand that globally now into an initial public offering. Now, one of the other benefits as well is that you save a lot of money as an organization. So, when you launch an initial public offering, you have to enlist a bank, you have to list many investment banks, underwriters, there's filing costs, there's a whole bunch of costs, and it's in the tens of millions, like it's not cheap. And so, Slack is able to save all of that revenue. They only need one bank in order to do some forms, and they can obviously go into a direct public offering. The other benefit as well, especially particularly from a consumer standpoint, is that there's no price target. So as I mentioned with, say, Lyft, they're setting a price target of $62 to $68, and then all of a sudden it became $78, and then it became $87. There's none of that behavior with Slack. What will happen is that they've already got private investors, whether that's, family, friends, acquaintances, employees, some private investors, etc. And what they will do, on the primary market, they will allow those investors to start selling those shares straight away. And so based off the price that people start to buy those shares, they can kind of gauge the volume and the sort of price point that people are willing to buy Slack shares. At the moment, that's around the $23 to $26 price point. So that's actually people currently buying Slack shares of current Slack investors. And so what that means is that when they go public, they'll then basically take an average of those prices, and then they'll list the price onto the stock market. So it will be a much, much fairer valuation when it lands on the stock market. In terms of their performance and their revenues, Slack has doubled in revenue for the last sort of 3 years. So in 2017, they posted 105 million in revenue. In 2018, they posted 220 million in revenue. And in 2019, in January, they posted 400 million in revenue. So they've been growing their revenues. They've doubled their revenues year after year, which is a brilliant, brilliant sign. It's a very, very good sign. And also what they've also done is managed to keep their costs flat as well. So they've not increased their revenue, but at the same time exponentially increased their costs, which is also a great sign. The only slight cause for concern, which is obviously always my concern because of the type of investor that I am, is that they've posted a net loss. So they're still not making profit. They're not making any earnings. They're still currently making a loss. But their net loss is 138.9 million. If you want to put that into perspective, Lyft, when they announced their share price, when they went to an initial public offering, and when they went into the market, they were posting a net loss of 911 million. So it's 5 times less than Lyft's net loss, which is obviously almost $1 billion. So it's understandable that tech firms and smaller firms will have a loss. It's not. I guess it's not strange for that to happen. However, obviously, if they keep on growing their revenues, then I can actually see them start to turn a profit. Maybe next year, maybe even this year, when they announce it for 2020, etc. So it is a positive sign. They currently have 10 million daily active users, and they've got about 88,000 paid customers, which is up 49%. So it's great to see that of their segmentation, their paid versus free users, they're increasing their paid customers by 50%, which is really, really good as well. And so, obviously, I've done a lot of previous videos about, not investing in IPOs for a variety of what I feel is really rational reasons. And I've shown you many, many IPOs that all that happens is that they tank after IPOs, or they don't really even get to their IPO price. Spotify now is probably the most like-for-like scenario in Slack, just for the simple fact that they were the only other sort of major organization of recent times to go for a direct public offering. There's other companies that have obviously done that, Ben & Jerry's and a few other companies back in like the 50s and 60s and blah, blah, blah. But in terms of sort of recent tech companies that have followed a similar model, Slack and Spotify is probably the most like-for-like in that scenario. And as you can see with Spotify's share price, obviously they opened at about 165, and currently they're nestling about 132. They did have one period where they slightly went above it. That was about, from April to August. So yeah, that was about for 3 months after IPOing. But since then, they sort of steadily dropped and had a bounce back. So these companies are very, very, very good for trading, especially swing trading. But in terms of long-term investing, I personally, just with my approach and the way I like to approach investing, it still doesn't feel like an investable opportunity for me. But I do believe that Slack will quickly turn that tide and become an investable opportunity. So it's something I will monitor, but it's probably something that I won't get in on day one, just because I'd like to see how things pattern out. However, I do think in the long term, if they keep growing at the rate that they're growing, Slack will definitely be a very, very investable opportunity. The 2 IPOs that I'm personally waiting for, based off their current revenues and based off their business model, is Stripe and Airbnb. I think those 2 will be the 2 IPOs that I will invest in. I said this in my video of which IPO will I invest in, and I've kept that stance ever since. But I also said maybe Slack, and looking at their numbers, now they've just finally been released, Slack is turning into a definitely maybe scenario. So yeah, I'm quite excited about, the prospects for Slack and the future. Hopefully you found that video useful, you found the information useful. If you've got any questions, please get in the comments. Are you going to invest in Slack? It'll be good to know. When it's a direct public offering, obviously you can get in on day one. Probably Free Trade won't have it on the Free Trade platform, but I know some of you guys do invest with other platforms like Hargreaves Lansdown, eToro, etc. eToro tends to get it early, so if I wanted to invest on day one, I probably would go to eToro in order to trade it initially until, say, Free Trade get it on their platform. But let me know if you guys are going to invest in Slack, what your thoughts and feelings are about it. You know, overall, to summarize, I feel good about it. I feel Slack aren't slacking, and I feel they're doing. I'm going to make so many Slack puns. It's going to be really, really embarrassing. So apologies, but I think they're doing great things, and their numbers seem safe, and you know they're going in the right direction, which is, you know, really, really important. Other than that, please like, please comment, please subscribe. I'll be back with another video today. Actually, in fact, I'm actually probably going to upload a portfolio update today, just as a thank you for hitting 500 subscribers. I know you guys like portfolio updates, but it's not going to be pretty. I'll tell you that. It's definitely not going to be pretty, but look out for it. So on a goal, on a mission to get to 1,000 subscribers. And if you're brand new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you next time. Happy investing.